Welcome to my live stream live from Bangkok, Thailand. Today, our top story is surprising because there is a little bit of a win for men's rights, and it came from California, out of all places. We're going to talk about a lawsuit that was settled very recently. Then we're going to answer this lovely lady's question. And I got to tell you, this is probably one of the best questions that I've seen women ask on social media. So I'm going to give her a full answer. Then we're going to review this real woman's dating profile as I do every day. There are plenty of red flags in her actual text profile, but we'll concentrate specifically on the pictures because a lot of guys don't pay attention to this one very important thing. And then we're going to review the comment of the day where this woman says, "You're giving out advice that sucks." And we're going to figure out why in the world this modern woman would disagree with anything that I would say on this channel, and we'll have some fun with that. All right, for the top story, I don't get to say this very often, but men got a little bit of justice very recently when the nightclub in California, out of all places, now has to pay $7 million to men, just men, for discrimination. And what happened was they had a ladies' night, which are pretty common, and where the men had to pay the cover charge, and the women not only didn't have to pay the cover charge, they didn't have to be searched, while men did have to be searched. So they got sued by a couple of guys, and anybody who's qualified can collect out of that judgment. And you're probably thinking, like, Alex, California has anti-men discrimination laws? When did it get passed? Was it yesterday? Was it last month? You will be surprised for me to tell you, after doing some research, this law has been in effect since 1959, and there has been other successful lawsuits, that were the basis for which were discrimination against men, including Oakland A's, which is a big sports organization. They were successfully sued for giving away free hats on the Mother's Day, and a few others. Now, you're probably saying, Alex, well, that's kind of stupid. Why would the guys mind? Who would sue for a ladies' night when we get to come to a place where there will be probably more women because they're getting in for free? Well, I'll tell you why that's a horrible idea in just a second. But let me just point out that this story was only covered by one publication, which is the Independent. So kudos to them for doing that. I think they're owned by AOL. Me and my best friend ChatGPT looked high and low for any other media, big or small, covering the story, and I could not find one. We could not find one. So again, men's issues, any type of stories, especially a success story, are really, really hard to find nowadays. So that's why I do this channel. But let's talk about why a ladies' night is a bad idea, besides just being blunt discrimination against men. And it looks like in this case, men were also searched while women were not. Like, women never do anything like bring guns or knives or pepper sprays or other shit into the nightclub. But okay, let's just set that aside. Here's the thing. Yes, I know it's very easy to say, wow, I want to go to the ladies' night because there will be a lot of girls there because they don't have to pay. Now, that could be the case. However, think about what you're doing. By definition, this is the event that attracts women, not because of how the good the music is, or the DJ, or the service, or the ambiance, or the type of quality of men that it brings out. The only reason why all of these girls are coming to this club is because men are going to pay for them, and it will start with a cover charge, right? When you give them that $20 to get in for the ladies' night, you're not paying $20 for your cover charge. You're paying $10 for your cover charge, and then you're paying another $10 for a random girl that you don't even know, right? So essentially, you are forced into simping pretty much right away. But when you come into a club like that on a night like that, what are you going to find? You're going to find that women Every single woman who got into that club has essentially got her cover charge paid by a man. Guess what they're going to expect moving forward? Do you think they will expect to also pay for their drinks? No, they will expect you, the guy who already paid for their cover charge, to pay for their drinks. As a matter of fact, a lot of girls, when they go to the ladies' night, they don't even bring cash with them or credit cards. There has been many cases where a guy and a girl start talking and both order the drink, and then the bartender will go the bill, and the guy goes like, hey, listen, I'll pay for my drink, she'll have to pay for hers. And the girl goes like, well, what are you talking about? I don't even have cash on me. The expectations are already pretty high that men would simp and pay women for their time just to have a conversation, which to me is just another way of hiring a hooker who won't even go to your room with you. But it is essentially putting yourself in a situation where the quality of women that you're going to be surrounded by are going to be such that will essentially be gold diggers on some level and will expect you to simp. So the ladies' nights that go on all over the world all the time are to be avoided, no matter how good of the ratio is. It's kind of like here in Thailand to go to a ladyboy's party, right? Like, yeah, there will be a lot of beautiful women there, but they all will have something that you probably don't want to take home or do, whatever. But you understand what I'm saying, that this is also a blunt discrimination against men. And the fact that men actually sued, right? Most men are not even bothered by it, right? I was never bothered by it until very recently, once I started thinking about, what kind of events these are and why I should stay away from them. But most men are not even bothered. That's why a lot of them don't really sue, and especially in California, where if you're a man, you're a second-class citizen. As a matter of fact, I can argue that in entire America, if you're a man, you're a second-class citizen. Look at all of the stories that I've covered this week or last week. This is the only positive story. All of the other stories about how men get their lives ruined by false accusations from women who have no punishment and many times make money on that, or discrimination from Apple or TikTok that will simply censor men while rolling out the red carpet for women. So it is a thing that a lot of men don't even realize that are going on. The Rock in a chat says, in most countries, militaries are still mostly men space because not many want to conscript women. So if men want to hang out in men only spaces, they can join the military. Well, I'm not saying that we should hang out in men only spaces. I'm just saying, if you're going to go out to meet women, try not to go to places where you by default will meet women who will make you simp for them, and so will the nightclub. And majority of them will be gold diggers. That's all I'm saying. Colin says, furthermore, if they're searching only men and not women, is the presumption of guilt until proven innocent. This is assuming only men commit crimes and women don't. Yes, well, listen, I've been covering these stories all week, and I know you guys have been in the chat almost every day, and I appreciate that. But yes, that is what it is, especially when it comes to false accusations, right? This whole Me Too movement, as good of an idea as it was, and I was absolutely supporting them at first, essentially backfired, where now women use these accusations, for false accusations for which there is absolutely no punishment but only rewards, as a tool against men, and there's nothing anybody can do. But as I mentioned before, it is a huge disservice to those women who are victims, right? But now no one's going to believe them. Now, I still think that what we should believe is the evidence and facts over anybody. Doesn't matter, man or woman. We should, especially when it comes to the court. But at the end of the day, I absolutely believe we need to have punishment for women who accuse men of anything that has never happened. But at the end of the day, this is the only positive story for men, and not really a big win, if you ask me, but the only positive story for this week. But you know what? I'll take it. Now, let's move on to the next segment, which is great, guys. I promise. This is great. I'm so happy I found this video. It's been great. So, For the weekly segment, today we have her question of the week, where I answer a question of a modern woman that is posted somewhere on social media. And this one is really good, and I had to think about the answer because it's not as simple as you may think. Let me know in the comment section or in the live chat what your answer is. I'm actually quite interested in this, and I'll tell you what mine is as well. But let's listen in.
For single guys or just guys in general, when you were single, or if you're single, you're in a social setting and you want to approach a girl, is it more likely for you to approach a girl that's like a 7 out of 10 or under versus a girl that's 10 out of 10?
Great question. Excellent question. Now, first of all, more and more men now are no longer approaching women. It is such a shitty experience for a lot of
Say
them
this all
that
because I had
they have just stopped doing it altogether. Now, to answer your question, in case of those men who actually do approach women still, then it depends on location. If it is a club or a bar, a place where men go for an easy hookup, then you're probably right. It is much easier to go after a girl who may be not as good looking, but will still do for the night, because she is easier to get there, rather than a girl who is super hot, knows it, requires a bunch of free drinks and simping, and you have to compete with a bunch of men. So, yes. However, if we're talking about more of a regular environment, a coffee shop or an art event, or anywhere where men actually approaching women for a potential relationship, then it actually depends on the girl's how friendly the girl is, right? If the girl is smiling and friendly and her eyes are kind of enjoying the place, it doesn't really matter what she looks like, versus a girl who is on her phone with earbuds, just not realizing there's a universe around her. In that case, I would say it really doesn't matter, but it depends on the girl. It also depends on how she's interacting with her friends and the wait staff and other men who already approached her earlier, because she is that good looking, right? It really depends on all of that. Now, as for me, I will preach the same thing. I believe that no matter where in the world a good looking girl is, we're talking about 8 and above, she has already been damaged by a ridiculous amount of attention and simping and validation and compliments and money. These girls get a lot of money even when they don't ask. So, unfortunately, a girl who is really good looking, 8, 9, and 10, is just no longer dateable. You will never win in a competition with simps, where she's just used to it. She will absolutely not even understand how a man can be interested without showering her with compliments and money. But let's go on and see, because she actually does break down her question, and there's some nuances that I think we should address.
a girlfriend that's like drop dead gorgeous, maybe an 11 out of 10, right?
Right. See, here's the thing. Let us be the judge. A lot of times, when here in Thailand, when people say, "Oh, Alex, I want you to be. You're single. I have a single friend. She's gorgeous, right?" And they'll show me the picture, and we'll be like, "Gorgeous? What? How? What?" So women give each other way too much credit on their looks. Or, for example, if I see she's got tattoos, just the other day, I was told, "Hey, listen, we have a staff member who, just broke up with her boyfriend, and she's actually wants to, get into maybe another relationship." And I was like, "Is she cute? Is she cute?" They showed me the picture. She is cute, but she's got a sleeve tattoo. And I'm like, "How did you not know that this is a complete deal breaker for definitely someone like me?" So when women say, "Oh, my friend is gorgeous," we'll see.
Right? Like perfect body, amazing personality, beautiful.
Another thing about personality. Yeah, she might be really cool as your friend, but she can be a complete fucking bitch to men. So, personality, again, it's for us to judge.
Guys would never talk to her. We would go out, guys never gave her the time of day, would never approach her, never talk to her.
I can tell you that most likely your friend either is a bitch or looks like one, and is extremely unfriendly in general, her aura. That's probably what it is.
I had other friends that were definitely under a 7, maybe under a 5. Constantly guys sending over drinks, guys coming up and approaching them. And my thought is
Yeah, probably because these women appear to be more friendly. Probably look around the room, and if see they see a guy that they like, they will smile. Which again, nowadays, a lot of men simply would not approach a girl. Period. I actually, even here in Thailand, even when you're getting rejected, it's a positive experience here. But generally speaking, I just don't have as much time to approach every girl I like, right? So I only approach girls who would meet me with my eyes, smile, and give me some sort of a estimation of on how my approach is going to go, because I just don't want to waste my time. Or even here, most of the time, the girl will give you her number, no problem. But then you have a conversation with her and she doesn't reply afterwards. You're like, well, you should have just said no right away, right? So these women being so kind and nice to you here actually sometimes is a negative because they waste your time. But trust me, I will take that over an experience with a Western woman any day. So, but it is. I always need some sort of a validation that hey, she's friendly. She specifically likes me when she looked at me. Then it's worth approaching. Okay.
Is because there's less likely they would get rejected for a girl that's a 7 out of 10 or under versus the 10 out of 10.
Now, listen, some men really do think that way, but there is something in there, right? Because, like I said, girls who are really good looking, they have a lot of guys simping, they have a lot of attention, and unfortunately, they get a lot of money or some money from these guys. So, when you approach this girl, but you are an actual alpha male with self respect, you're not going to throw your money at this girl or compliments. The success rate is much lower because she doesn't even understand. She's like, what's happening? This guy approached me, didn't say compliment or didn't offer me a drink or his money. Like they just go, I don't know what's happening. I'm going to tell you a story. Once she's done we're done with a video that happened literally last night, as I decided to match with a pretty good looking girl. In my book, probably about 7, but I know most guys would think of her as an 8.5. So I'll tell you about that story in a second.
They're afraid that if they approach the 10 out of 10, maybe she'll reject them or not give them the time of day.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's not specifically about rejection because, like I said here, when a girl rejects you, she does it with so much kindness, and you get still a sudden dose of femininity that you kind of enjoy it. It's like, yeah, okay, that wasn't bad at all. On with my day. The problem is a lot of these women are quite fucking rude, and like she even said that sometimes they don't give these guys time of day, and these guys feel invisible, and all of this. Energy that they've mustered up and bravery to approach a girl, which is very hard for most men, and all of a sudden they're being kicked by the balls for that approach, right? That's unacceptable. I always suggest that men, if a girl is being rude to you after you approach her politely, if she's being rude to you, be twice as rude back. Somebody has to put these women back in their place, and you might as well do it since you're already being rejected. Don't be nasty, right? But be matter of fact. Just basically say, listen, I was very respectful to you, but it sounds like you have a very bad attitude and maybe you weren't raised very right. But I can suggest to you that maybe you can be a little bit nicer to people. Your life will be a little bit better. But being nasty to a man who came up to you is just ratchet, right? You're not insulting her, right? But you are giving her very much straightforward talk. Feel free to vary that depending. I mean, sometimes girls are so nasty you just want to tell her to fuck off, right? And you should. But that's what's happening a lot. That's why I think these women don't really realize how nasty other women are, including their friends, right? She just said, well, sometimes they don't give them a time of day. Well, that's a problem.
Where they're not going to close the deal there. But if they go for a 7 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, whatever, it's more likely that they're going to give them the attention. But really, the 10 out of 10 would have given them attention if they would have just approached with confidence, kindness, being a gentleman.
Yeah, but also being 6'2", making a lot of money, buying her a drink, simping, give her like she's forgetting the most important part. Now, the way I approach good-looking women, well, women who are 8 and above, well, I'll tell you in a second. Actually, let's just finish up with this.
And still been able to get her phone number or start the conversation because she never got approached. She wasn't giving like the resting bitch face or anything like that. She still was interacting with friends. She wasn't on her phone. So just really curious. Let me know in the comments. I want to know what your thought is on this.
Yeah, so like, she says, well, she doesn't have a resting bitch face, or wasn't on her phone, which is good sign, right? These are the things that we're looking for, for not to happen, really. But again, it's a woman observing another woman. It's really nothing. It's not the same as a man observing another woman. So now let me tell you what happened about last night, right? So I see a profile picture that's pretty good. Now, in general, I know you guys are gonna laugh at me, but I'm just don't find Thai women, even though I live in Thailand, as attractive as other women. In America, I dated black women, but it is what it is. I'm here, in Thailand for more than just women. This is the best country for me, regardless of that. So I see this girl. I would say she's about a 7 in my book, but I know for other foreigners, she's probably 8.5 or so, right? So, but I also see that her pictures are pretty appropriate, and she doesn't have any tattoos. So now, when I message girls who are just regular girls, 6 or 7s or whatever, I usually say, "Hey, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Just something, nice and polite." But with really good-looking women, I always try to start with something that no other men start, right? Because you have to set yourself aside. So you kind of challenge them right away. So in this case, I said, "Oh, so you don't have any tattoos at all?" Right? So right away, she's like, "No, why?" Now I got to tell you, women used to actually appreciate this. Just like, "Oh, someone's challenging me. There's actually some men with some masculine energy, not a simp," right? Nowadays, they don't even fucking know what it is. They go like, "Whoa, whoa, what the fuck? You started without giving me a million compliments and offering to pay for my coffee today? Like, I don't even understand what's happening," right? So even here in Thailand, it's changing. Now, I do have to say that this woman, I ended up realizing, speaks pretty good English. So, which is a red flag for me. Women who speak English here are essentially the same as American women. They're a little bit more polite, and of course, you spend less money on drinks for them. But for a long-term relationship, it's a no-go. But I didn't realize it at that time, and also I decided to run this experiment all the way to the end because I knew I would get a really good story out of it. So she said no. I said, well, it's kind of rare for women to not have tattoos. And she's like, well, why are you asking? So she got a little defensive. I smoothed it out. So I started talking a little bit, but I said, hey, listen. Oh, she said, do you have Instagram? I'm like, yeah, but here we use WhatsApp and Line. Line is the app that every Thai girl has. She's like, wow, my Line, I don't really use it as much. I have so many promotions and spam. I was like, okay, all right, fine, I'll play. So I was like, here, I'll find you on Instagram. Found her on Instagram. Got access. Nothing but bikini pictures. Nothing like slutty, but a lot of bikini pictures. And I was like, hey, listen, I thought you told me you're looking for a relationship, but your profile looks like, you're just trying to get a male following to maybe make money out of it. She's like, oh, well, if that's what you think, that's very negative of you. I said, listen, I'm just trying to get to know you, but I look at your profile. It's nothing but, you're pretty much, naked. I said, well, she said, my boyfriend took these pictures, before we broke up. I was like, oh God, no, she dated a simp. Okay. I said, was your boyfriend a foreigner? She's like, yes. I'm like, fuck yeah. These motherfuckers, these guys come here and fucking ruin this women immediately by simping, right? Just immediately by simping. And I was like, all right, okay, now I'll play, right? If that's the only thing, I can always tell her, listen, if you want to date me seriously, you're gonna have to remove those pictures. You won't be taking any more of these, right? Because again, they weren't like super slutty, right? They were just kind of like, hey, I had a nice day at the beach and here I am afterwards, not like, look at my boobs, and there's a Ferrari behind me. I was like, all right, okay, all right, we'll deal with it later, right? So I said, hey, why don't, and I always do this. I said, why don't we continue this conversation, tomorrow over coffee? And she goes like, well, I have a day off tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm going to feel this way, blah, blah, blah. I said, I was like, listen, let me just officially invite you and you can say yes or no. So I said, how about we'll grab coffee at this coffee shop at this time tomorrow? And she already asked me where I lived because it doesn't matter which neighborhood you live here. So, she replies with a voice message. And by the way, by then I actually spoke a little bit of Thai to her and showed her my Thai channel where I speak Thai in my videos. So she knows I'm not, one of those foreigners who come here, get a holiday girlfriend and bail, right? That I'm here. I love the culture. I appreciate the culture. I speak a little bit of Thai, right? That's very rare. Just so you guys know, it is very rare. So so I already established I already set myself aside from like 99% of foreigners, right? So at this point she should want to go out on a date with me. And she goes like, see, this is what I hate about men. They always want to meet where it's convenient to them. I said, okay, I understand your point, but I have to tell you that a lot of women here don't show up to dates at all or run so late that I just leave. So I just not going to, get somewhere just to be stood up. And on top of that, I'm sorry, if you want to date a guy who has any value, we are busy. We're busy men. We have businesses, we have friends, we travel, we have events to attend to, and so forth and so forth. We're busy men. If you want to date a man like me, you're gonna have to come to me. I'm sorry. Right now, you would think at this point, the girl, and a lot of them do say, okay, yeah, no, I understand, And she said, no, I don't think we're a good match. Best of luck to you. Right. And I said, all good, right? Now let's break this down, and this goes to the sort of what we're talking about with this video with this girl, right? So women who are good looking, or at least looked at as good looking by men, just get fucking ruined by these fucking simps who will simp for them no matter where in the world the girl is, right? So this girl, when I gave her some masculine energy and challenged her in my first message, like women used to, didn't even really understand what's happening. On top of that, she's really that spoiled that she doesn't even understand. Like, I broke it down to her. I said, listen, you want to date a man who's got some value? Yeah, the guy's going to be busy, right? You would think that would appeal to her, the natural selection type of an argument. No, no, I like when the guy simps for me, right? That's essentially her answer, right? I'd rather have a simp. That's where we're at, gentlemen. Women who are very good looking would rather have a simp because they don't even know what this masculinity is, right? They don't understand the value. They don't understand that a man who simps essentially is a loser, because if the guy has all this time in the world, who's wants to meet a girl so badly that he's willing to waste all of this time on what we know is a losing cause most of the time, right? You either, out of your money for free dinner, or the girl doesn't show up. You have to sit like a bitch for an hour to wait for her as she's running late, running other errands, all of these things. So these women who are Asian and time, they don't even understand masculinity. They do not understand the real value of a man anymore, right? They just understand compliments, simping, and money. So honestly, in my case, I rarely do this because a lot of times these women also end up to be actual hookers. So, but here it is, yet another proof. And I am in Thailand. I am in Thailand, one of the last places on earth where you still have decent, submissive, traditional, family oriented women. Okay. In America, you guys have no fucking choice whatsoever. Dwayne here says women propping up their friends, 11 out of 10. Okay, it is exactly what I said, right? They rarely are. The Rock says, I think the women, especially the pretty ones, are more damaged by chats rather than attention and simping. The mere presence of chat condemns them to join his Harlem. It's hard to resist chat's Harlem. Here's the thing. Chats, let me present this to you. Chats are also now simps. We see this all the time, especially in this movement where older women who realize that no man of any value wants them, they go for younger guys who are raised by single mothers and simp fathers. They don't even know their own value. So a lot of chads nowadays are also simps. Yeah, they will totally take advantage of this girl. And I'm sure, like, I didn't want to get into it. I'm sure her boyfriend came here making her feel like, oh yeah, I'm here to stay here in Thailand, even though I'm on a 90-day, visa, are not learning Thai or have any Thai friends. And this girl goes like, really? Okay. Jumps on his dick. And then after this guy's done with her, probably double timing her with other women because he's only here for small periods of time, and then leaves. And then a lot of times these guys will even make this girl believe that he's going to come back. So he's kind of got this good-looking girl just in case if he wants to come back, or fly her somewhere and bang her for another couple of weeks, right? And these women fall for that, and yes, they get damaged by these dudes, but they're also simps. You understand that, right? Her boyfriend was taking pictures of her in her bikinis without him in those pictures to post on social media for men to see, right? So already a simp. And I don't really need to really get to know the situation that much. I see this every day. I see this every day. Yesterday, I went to an event where I had to explain to this one guy why I don't date women with tattoos. He got offended on the women with tattoos behalf. And then there was a Western woman with tattoos who overheard it and asked me, like, why? And I'm like, oh, fuck, you're going to get offended and walk away. She's like, no, 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 I'm not. Explain to her in like the most polite terms, including the fact that there are medical reasons why you should not have tattoos. And she still literally got offended and walked away. But there was a dude, the dude who lives here in Thailand permanently, who he doesn't need to simp, yet he was defending women with tattoos when I explained to him why it's a bad idea. Dwayne says, this old broad wearing too much makeup, hard to take her seriously. Well, okay, so this is where I disagree, right? And I disagree with this red pill movement that a woman should be natural. Listen, most women ain't that pretty, okay? I don't mind the makeup if the girl looks a little bit nicer when she's out and about. I don't mind that at all. And most importantly, makeup is not just so much about looking better, it's about the effort to look better. Women who don't bother with makeup, they also don't bother with hair or dressing up or going to the gym or wearing heels. I rarely see a girl with done hair and a beautiful outfit and high heels with a nice purse with no makeup on. So I disagree here. Makeup is important because this means that woman wants to put an effort in her appearance. Most Western women nowadays, and a lot of Thai women here, I have to admit, don't give a fuck what they look like because a bunch of simps are going to fly in and bang them anyway and buy them drinks and simp for them, right? So there's no reason for makeup. So I actually appreciate, especially an older girl who knows how to use makeup and puts an effort into it. She obviously does her hair. So I absolutely disagree. Women who don't use makeup, don't do their hair, fucking walk around with hobo clothes, and sneakers. No, no, thank you. A lot of times they also don't shave on top of that. But that's essentially not giving a fuck what you look like because there will be always a dude trying to bank her or give her money. So this is why I disagree, but to each its own. Okay, now let's move on to the next segment here. And as always, every day I review a real profile. These are real profiles that I found on OkCupid, and tons and tons of. I don't even actually have to swipe that much to see girls with red flags. So today in the dating profile of the day, we'll go over this profile. Let's go over the profile first because the pictures is where I think a lot of men need to pay more attention. So, okay, 27 years old, Chico, California. Actually, one of my best sexual experiences was with a girl from Chico, California. I live nearby. She drove hour and a half to me just to have sex with me every time. That's how women used to be. Now it's dudes who are doing that. Okay. 27 years old, average build, smokes marijuana sometimes, single mother, has pets, all of the red flags, all and on and on and on. Cute, but a little psycho, which means a lot of psycho. Staying sober, which means recovering alcoholic, which again, it's kudos to those people who are in recovery from either drugs and alcohol and everything, but it is a very tough sell. I've dated a girl one time. He didn't even know she was an alcoholic. She was a functional alcoholic, but essentially you're always having to fight the demons with her. And again, I just don't want a girl who comes with such a huge baggage, right? So I mean, overall, as you can see, this is a no on many different ways. But let's look at her pictures because that's actually the reason I brought this profile up, right? Look at a picture right away. You can see that this is a fucking scanned photograph. This is not taken by a phone. Now, it looks like she also applied a filter on top of that, but it's obviously a scanned picture, which makes me wonder when the fuck was it taken? You know what I mean? Who even has a camera that develops pictures at a grocery store? So already, then we have this picture. Any girl who sticks her ass and tongue out usually is a bit of a hole or a lot of a hole, but sticking the tongue now out is usually an indication of that. If you guys didn't know, whenever a girl sticks the tongue out like this, it is a no right away. But look at her body here. Not a bad body, relatively thin, right? Her booty's sticking out, nice body, right? This is why it's important to remember because, okay, now we see a tattoo right here, right? And as you can see, her face and a nose ring, right? Okay, so there's more red flags. and red hair. So, normally this profile should be swiped left on a long time ago. But again, we're just trying to analyze the pictures. Um, I don't think she looks too similar to this girl. This girl's kind of skinny. This one and this one and this one is not. So this is a problem that a lot of women have. Well, this is your problem. A lot of women do this, where they'll post the skinny pictures of themselves from 5, 10 years ago, and show up with an extra 20 pounds. Now, in this case, this girl's actually posting her recent pictures, so you can see that she's full of shit when she's posting these pictures that are obviously scanned from a photograph from probably like 10 years ago, right? And look at the way look at her left hand, right? Again, a lot of guys don't notice this. This is perfectly positioned hand, and you will probably start noticing this in many other pictures of girls in the future. This is very important. This is when a girl is covering up her belly. As you can see, she's not doing a great job, so you can see there's definitely a belly, and she's covering that up. And look at this picture, again, compared to the other picture that looks like it was scanned from a photograph. This is a skinny girl. This is a skinny girl, but it's obvious it's been a few years since then. This is what she really looks like, with probably 20 extra pounds. And the fact that she has to cover her belly tells you that she's trying to lie to you here, right? She's trying to appear skinnier than she really is. When she shows up, by the way, don't be that surprised if there is more to it than even this picture. This is why it's very important to analyze the pictures. Like last week, I also taught you guys how you can use AI to analyze which cities she's visited when she takes pictures in with some cityscapes behind her, whether these are just regular cities that she visited her relatives at in America, or these are Dubai and Paris and so forth. That's important to know because you want to know who funded those trips. Whoever it was, it's always bad news, even if it's herself. And you can also do the same thing with clothes and bags and shoes, where you can see, is this a $40 bag or a $3,000 bag, right? So these are all things that you should do when you analyze the pictures of a dating profile. Now, I said this many times before, don't bother doing it right away, right? Especially, and if you're just looking for a girl to bang, then it's like, if she's bangable, then just fine, swipe right and see what happens. But if you're looking for an actual potential relationship, then just look for red flags, right? If she's got nose rings, tattoos, okay, fine, swipe left. Absolutely, you should. But if there's nothing wrong with the pictures or the main even picture, swipe right, and then only if she matches you back, which happens very rarely, less and less so nowadays, then go and see if the profile is good. Now, a lot of guys will go back, see the red flags, and still ignore them because, wow, this is so rare. A girl matched with me. Guys, I hate to tell you this. Even if she matches with you, if you see the red flags where this woman will make your life worse than it is now, right? Whether you will be left with less money for nothing in return, or she's just trouble and will take peace away from you, you're better off with your left hand on a Pornhub. So even if the girl matches, go analyze the pictures, go analyze the profile like I do for you every day, and make the right decision for you, not just immediately because, oh my God, this is the only girl who matched with me this week. So think about that. Okay, The Rock says, what is the average attractiveness level of a Thai woman who are available and not hookers? 4, 5, 6, 7. How about Philippines women attractiveness? Okay, so I can only speak for myself, right? First, let me tell you, I have some friends who are either dating or married some average at best women and think that they are fucking the hottest women in the world. Okay, just so you know. And there's some men who specifically attracted to either Asian women in general or Thai women specifically. Me, unfortunately, and I know you guys probably wondering, Alex, you came to Thailand for a better dating scene, and yet you're not really that much into Thai women. Why are you there, right? It is true, but I am here for so many other things. My life is so amazing here, and I've been to over 30 countries to know that this is the right place for me. And then the dating scene has been corrupted in many other places. I was just in Kenya. It is what it is. So for me, unfortunately, an average girl here, is probably a 4 or a 5, which is essentially average, right? Now, I have seen women. The problem for me is also like I've dated black women before, so I'm an ass man, and I really mean it, right? So I have seen some decent looking women here who would walk by me and was like, "Wow, what a beauty!" And then she'll be walking by, she'll be walking by, she'll be walking by, and I go like, "Oh, did she leave her ass at home? Is it for repair somewhere? She's gonna get it back one day." I mean, we're not. I don't need a big. A lot of people think, "Oh, ass man always want a big one." No, no. I just need the roundness. I need some sort of a curve here, not the. So, and that's very unfortunate for me. A lot of guys apparently don't mind the no booty thing, but I do. I need something up there, and that's kind of my problem. So, but again, I'm probably in the minority here. Now, Philippines, completely different story. Love Filipino women, love the dark skin, love the dark features and the hair and the booty, and also generally speaking, they're more sexual, they're more friendly. So I'm actually probably going to be going. My next country is probably going to be Philippines, because it's nearby. So if I meet a girl there and we decide to actually seriously date, it's not a problem for her to move here. And even visit a couple of times before she decides to do that. So now, of course, the negative effect of Philippines is that every girl speaks English, so she's already under the constant corruption attack from um, Western mentality, and is much easier corrupted than a Thai girl who doesn't speak English. So that's my estimation. But again, I'm in the minority just because of my preference in women. However, there is still plenty for me to stay here, because if no woman would be attractive for me, right, then I'll be like, I gotta bail, right? No, no, there's still plenty of them. The one that I swiped right on yesterday, as I described earlier, was someone I would consider seriously. Like I said, I think she is a 7 that probably would be upgradable to an 8. And for me, I don't need a 10. I don't need a 10 or 9. I just need a decent looking girl enough who is into, who likes sex, which is actually quite rare nowadays anywhere, I think. Who is a good woman, who gives me peace, who are traditional and submissive. I don't need a 10. I don't need a 9. 7 and 8 will do. I think that's, way beyond, above average anyway. So that should really not be a problem. Okay, let me move on to the last segment of the day and of the week. I do take weekends off, though I make Thai videos in Thai on the weekends. So that's my thing. So I really don't have any days off, and believe you me, I am not complaining. That's fine with me. I love the way I live right now. Okay, the comment of the day comes from a woman, which and on a social media platform called a Red Note, where women literally follow and subscribe to my account just so they can leave nasty comments and attacks. I literally have some women who regularly watch my videos and regularly comment on them. These are my favorite followers, that they follow me for the hate of how right I am about them. Okay, so this girl starts. Her name is Nisi. She starts with no. Of course, she doesn't want to show her face in her profile. That's fine. Haha, you're giving out advice that sucks. Now, let me be very clear. Western women, and generally women, are, when it comes to dating and picking the right guy, are the dumbest species on the planet. Any animal that you see in a zoo or in a wild, or an insect on the wall, has a better sense of how to pick a good mate. This is why it's important to date traditional women, because traditional women are not that much smarter than other women. They're traditional, so the tradition, their families, right, their culture tells them what kind of men to pick, right? That's why you want a traditional woman, because when there is no tradition, where there is no family, that's family oriented already in the first place, that's why these women don't know what a good man is anymore. So these women, if these women would not be calling my advice bad, I would worry about my advice. But let's move on. This is okay. So by the way, this is a reply to one of the celebrities who's in her 40s. She said that she now is into slow dating, which is another way of saying friends first dating. Now, let's be very clear that friends first is when a woman wants to meet a man, go out on a bunch of dates with him, but not give him sex. Meanwhile, most of the time, this woman still expects the compliments, the attention, the energy, the drinks and dinners paid for. So essentially, it's kind of like being in a sexless marriage, right? You're giving a lot to this girl, and you're getting pretty much nothing that you want in return. That's what the friends first or slow dating is. So this girl's reply and says, well, this is a way to start a meaningful relationship where both people can find out if they actually like each other. Bullshit. This is why women are so bad at this. Finding, yes, I agree, we should find out more about each other, but that absolutely includes sex. Most of you women suck at it, and I don't mean it in a good way. Most women are really bad at sex. And a lot of you don't look good naked either, so we don't want to have sex with you. A lot of times you look good in clothes and you take it off and I go, look, holy fuck, no thank you. Okay, so now you, of course, there's plenty of guys who are just willing to stick it in and any warm hole because they don't get, whatever. I think they're stupid because they should really hire professional services if they're desperate and save themselves time and money. But I digress. So you want to get to know us with conversation and maybe some nagging and seeing how much of a free dinners you can get out of us. Fine. But we want to get to know you by seeing how good you are in bed and how good you look naked. So yeah, this is exactly what I was saying. You sure get to know us on your terms, but we don't get to know you the way we want it. That's why men should avoid it. Now she continues to say, men don't. By the way, she meant women. Yeah, this modern women are really smart, right? She meant women. Women don't want that. Who are just looking for one thing. What she probably meant was women don't want men who are just looking for one thing. Two things. Again, she's completely delusional, doesn't understand what the reality is, especially for men. First of all, most women don't have anything else to offer besides sex. So that one thing that we want is the only thing that you have to offer. If you want us to want you for more things, offer more. Either don't come across as a whore, right? Or showcase something that we would appreciate. Show us your feminine side. Show us that you're going to give us peace. Show us your kindness and submissiveness. By the way, it's not that fucking hard either. But you don't. Most of the women are no good for anything more than just sex. And even then, for those of us who actually like sex for the quality, not quantity, most of them are no good. Sorry. But here's the thing. The only way pretty much most men would have a serious relationship with you. You think that we come in and we right away saying, "Oh, I want to marry this girl one day." If a guy says that or even thinks that, he's fucking retarded. I mean, it is a pathetic, simping, beta male behavior. Okay, and I know some men do it. It's like, "Oh my god, pretty girl who smiled at me, I'm gonna marry her." Yeah. Oh fuck. How do you guys even live with yourselves? I don't even know. But let's just put those men aside. The first thing that men wants is absolutely sex. Before that, until you have sex with a guy, he will behave however he thinks you want him to behave to get into your pants. So most guys will not even be themselves. So it's really in your best interest to sleep with him if you really want to know who he is. That's number one. Secondly, even after that, we decide, well, sex not very good, or oh, Jesus Christ, I did not think that her body was going to look that bad. And then most guys male. That's why you guys are like, oh, guys just like to, hit it and quit it. Well, no, we would like to hit it again and again and again. We put a lot of work into getting into your pants. It would be nice to do it again without all of the hassle now. But it was so bad that we have to go and start over. Those men who actually do enjoy the first experience go like, I'd like to do it again and again and again. And then it becomes a one-night stand, becomes a friends with benefits relationship. After a while, the guy goes like, whoa, I've noticed there's a human being attached to that vagina down there. Oh, how are you? And that human being is actually very nice. Every time I hang out, and I'm done with what I wanted, I'm actually very much, enjoying my time with her. You know what I mean? I enjoy how she interacts with me throughout the day, you know? And only then a man would say, okay, we've gone through the one night stand, which turned into friends with benefits. And only then it will possibly turn into a relationship. So this whole concept that a man would actually want to date you from the very beginning is so fucking stupid. I mean, we are not that complicated of creatures, men. Okay, we're very easy to figure out, and yet, ladies, you still can't fucking do it. It is genuinely unbelievable to me. The Rock in a live chat says, when any girl on any dating app in the West can have 1,000 matches per day, and yes, they can, you couldn't even compete with Chats, who will win her competition. Thankfully, you're in Thailand. Thankfully, I'm in Thailand. That's correct. But things are, as you can see, getting skewed because if a girl speaks English, she's too Americanized, right? If girl has dated, foreigners before, she's already damaged by simping and so forth. I gotta tell you, I am not that afraid of competition with Chads. I feel like I'm actually in good looking enough and in shape when I can compete on looks as well. I will lose to a guy who is, with six packs and 6'2" in terms of looks, but I have to tell you, I have never in my life, and I'm almost 50, have met a girl who I would consider a relationship material or a wife material, who would pick men based on how good looking they are. As long as the man is not ugly or just cute, that's all those women require. After that, to them it's much more important many other things in a man that really used to matter more, and now they don't, right? The education, how good of a relationship he has with his mother, is he well traveled, what is his track record with his previous relationships, what is his life like, is he a hard worker, is he motivated, does he make enough money to support a family, all of those things used to matter more, as long as you make like the minimum requirement of the girl to be physically attracted to you, right? So if a girl's going for the chat, that means that she will never see all of those things in you, and that's not the girl you want to be with, right? We're talking about the relationship. Now, if you just want to get laid, like I said, guys, I don't care where you're in the world, whether it's legal or illegal, that should be handled by saving money and time, and you guys know what that is, right? Do you think high IQ women are still susceptible to feminism? From what I know, people with high IQ tend to think before they speak, and whenever mistakes they do, they recognize their own fault. Well, women, okay, I'm going to take it in a bit of a different direction here. Women with high IQ usually end up having careers, right? They end up going to school and college and getting masters and PhD, right? Those are women with high IQs. And by definition of what it is, that means that they usually waste away their best years when they should be looking for a husband. And you can't even get them until they're close to their 30s or already into their 30s, right? But by then, they have so many masculine traits that they had to develop in order to be successful, throughout college, throughout their careers, that they're just no longer dateable. So to me, high IQ women, they're unlikely to be submissive and traditional in the first place. So I really don't care if they're also submissive, susceptible to feminism and stuff like that. To me, that's just a moot point already. So, it is what it is. All right, guys. This was another fun week. I definitely enjoy hanging out, and thanks for those of you hang out with me like The Rock pretty much every day. This is the best part of my day. After this, it's back to research and thumbnail creation and cutting my live stream and working with my editor, which is still fun. But right now, I'm actually going to go hang out with one of my good friends. We're going to have some Mexican food here in Bangkok, which is not easy to find. And then I'm going to start working on my Thai video for the weekend. I have so many events to attend once again, which I won't be able to, but at least it's good to know. Like, there's always something fun going on here in Bangkok. Those of you who've never been, I always recommend, guys, just come here. Don't be fucking tourists. Don't be tourists. Don't interact with women who speak English. Don't hang out at Starbucks and stuff like that. Check out real Thailand. Maybe go to a province or so. It's not as scary as people think. Like, oh, province, there will be no running water. Fuck you. that these provinces have better internet access and having electricity more constantly than I had in Sacramento, California, the capital of the richest fucking state in the world, right? So go to the provinces, you will see real women, real tradition, real hospitality, real culture, real respect. Again, please don't hang out in McDonald's and in Starbucks and where everybody speaks English. That will be a waste of your time. But come here and enjoy the Thai culture. Visit other countries: Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, Vietnam. These are all great countries with great women, with great culture. And I got to tell you, it will be hard to go back. It will be hard to go back. This is why, in my course, the millionmanproject.com, one of the things that I teach is how every man should start working on a side project where you can start making money on the side that is location independent income. It's very important. I think, you know, more and more people in general will not only start leaving America for many reasons, including political, but realize that the life abroad is better in different ways. If you have health issues and you need good health care where you cannot wait to 2 fucking weeks to see a doctor because your heart hurts, right? Um, you got to go to other countries like Thailand. If you're tired of all the fucking crime, like in my case, I carried a gun. I was a licensed carrier, but I didn't like carrying a fucking killing machine with me. It was heavy. It was always here. You always have to watch who sees it, who doesn't see it. Can you enter this place? You know what I mean? There is pretty much no crime here, especially against foreigners. It's great. If you're just tired of fucking crime, you got to go somewhere else. If you're tired of politics, all the time, everywhere, people talking fucking, I hate Obama, I hate Trump. Fuck both of you. Nobody talks politics here. It's just so good. You don't have to worry about, you have no control over it anyway. It is so good not to worry about the presidential elections or midterms or what Trump did today or what Biden did, yesterday. None of that shit is in your head. Your life is so much better. So try to get some income on the side. Honestly, if you really, really want to get the fuck out of America, even $1,000 per month income will get you here and have you a decent life. Don't forget, and I'm not a tax consultant, but check with your tax consultant and ask them what foreign income exclusion is. This is where you don't have to pay pretty much any taxes except for Social Security when you live abroad full time and get paid by a salary. Ask that, because $1,000 here goes much further because of less taxes you have to pay. You definitely don't have to pay your state tax anymore if you're in one of the states that do charge tax, like California. And then, of course, $1 goes so much further here, especially like if you cook your own food or if you want to buy food from the street vendors who sell prepared food. It's a must. It's a must to have at least $1,000 income that's independent of location. And again, that's why I have my course for you guys. It's actually on sale now, so check it out. All right, guys, I am out. I hope you have a nice weekend, and I will stream once again evening time on Sunday, your time, Monday afternoon, my time. Other than that, have an amazing weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Peace. If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your life.